Hey Clear Lake peeps, Ross Anglin here with Clear Lake Guide Service with your lake report for Clear Lake in Northern California, Lake County, for July 7th, 2022. I was a little bit more specific this time because I do get comments from time to time that, my report's for the wrong Clear Lake. It's like, no, if you're a bass fisherman, this is the only Clear Lake. So at any rate, welcome back. We're here. As you can see, it was an interesting day today. It's beautiful right now. Clearly not summer-like. About an hour ago, see, right now it is 2 o'clock. About an hour and a half ago, I finally took my jacket off. I saw guys out here with beanies on and rain suits today. It just was cold, unseasonably cold. So, kind of interesting. Welcome back. So, let's stick with water conditions and water temperature. Launch ramp here at 5th Street this morning, 72 and change. Warmest I saw today was 73 and change. It's probably going to get up to 74, maybe even a little warmer somewhere around the lake. We spent all of our time below the Narrows, and those were the temperatures that we saw. Water clarity ranges anywhere from 6 inches to maybe 2.5 feet, depending on which part of the lake you're in. The upper end of the lake has kind of got some really nasty looking areas in it. Not algae on the surface, just really mixed in and kind of a brownish color. Not that real nasty brown, but just it's not green. Then you get about 2/3 of the way down the upper end of the lake and you start to get a little bit of greenish tint to it, a little bit clearer water. Once you get down in the Narrows and around the corner, that water actually looked pretty good. I mean, that's where the clearest water was that we saw, and what I consider to be the better water color. I did not see any algae blooms. Doesn't mean that they're not out there. Just with all the wind that has happened over the previous 2 days, I'm sure a lot of it got blown up on the bank. Weed mats are all over the place. So, but that's pretty much your water conditions. Lake level, we're at minus 0.7 Rumsey. No problems here at 5th Street. 3rd Street is currently still open. As far as I know, the county park is still open, although I cannot recommend using it. Too many people have run into issues there. Jim and I ran into an issue there last week when we launched, and that was on a tandem axle 521. So, if you got a smaller boat, you probably can get away with it for a little while. State park still closed, will be for the rest of the boating season. Look to just be careful any of these launch ramps that you choose to use. Literally over the last 2 weeks, I've talked to people who have had problems at almost every one of them. So just be careful. There's a line on the docks that show the end of the launch ramp. Don't take your rear tires past that line and you'll probably be okay. The Oaks ramp is still usable, but again, it's another ramp that I've talked to people who have had problems there over the last couple of weeks. So if you're one of the lucky ones and you've been doing it right, been getting away with it, that's great. Keep doing what you're doing. If you want to be careful, in my opinion, the best launch ramp to use right now is still 5th Street in Lakeport, and it'll probably continue to be that way through the rest of the summer. So that is, and I should say at 0.71, the lake came down 0.15, which means within the next 2 weeks, the lake level is going to be really close to being -1. And at -1 is when they began talking last year about closing the redbud ramp. So just kind of keep that in mind. You probably, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe by the end of the month, redbud may close. Don't know and haven't heard anything. As soon as we find out, we'll let you know. So there's water, lake conditions, and all that kind of stuff. Fishing, definitely not summer-like, Clear Lake summer-like, in my opinion. Oh, sorry, got to back up on one thing. No activities for next weekend that I can see on the permit list. So there's no tournaments unless there's a little club tournament or something like that. The following weekend, ABA is going to be running a kayak event, which is I believe a 2-day event, and I'm told could be between 90 and 100 boats. So I'm assuming they're going out of Lakeport, but not 100% sure. So I jumped ahead a week. Okay, definitely not fishing summer-like, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is, you know, in a typical summer, you should be able to go out into some deeper structure and just sit there and kind of whack away on them for a while, and then go find another piece of structure and whack away on them for a while. The fish that we caught today were on structure, and they were in 10 to 15 feet of water. It was cold and it was weird this morning. I spent a little bit of time trying to get a topwater bite. We did get one half-hearted swing, but nothing of any consequence. Now, with the way the day has progressed today, late this afternoon, there's probably a frog bite somewhere, and there's probably a topwater bite somewhere. But I've talked to a number of people that are all over the board. I mean, I know a few people have done really well with some crankbaits. Myself, you know, starting with the trip Jim and I did last week that we talked about last week, we had 14 fish on a relatively short day. Today, we're out for a 7-hour day, and we boat 11 fish. So it's not the greatest fishing. It's okay. It's just not great. So overall, though, the positive is the lake is actually right now looking in pretty good condition. I know that we're going to get some heat coming up the remainder of this week and next week, and that'll change things substantially. But right now, the lake is looking pretty darn good. So you still got ways to enjoy it. None of us know what's going to happen, you know, later this summer or early fall. But I was really encouraged by the fish that we caught today. They were all plump. They had bounced back from spawning, had bellies on them. Some of them had shoulders on them. They were just good, solid fish, you know, between 2 and 3 pounds. Just really nice Clear Lake fish. So that's your report for this week. We'll continue to do them as long as we can get a chance to be out on the water. We'll do one. If you don't get the report, that means we didn't get out on the water. So we'll see you whenever the next report comes by. Have a good one. Hope you had a good, safe 4th of July weekend, and we'll talk to you next time.